and giving up Cat was not the greatest. I feel like,
No, and what he's done with the Knicks now is just amazing. He's just
yeah,
3, 4 times level higher than he was here, and he was good here, but he's putting up 18 rebounds. He's putting up 40-point games. He's playing well with Jalen Brunson. It's like, I did not
yeah,
envision this type of cat. I mean, you get even better for what he was.
yeah, yeah. Especially getting paired with Brunson. I mean, Brunson I look at almost as not as good as Anthony Edwards, but a little bit more consistent in the fact that he is a ball dominant player, but he's not putting up, you know, 20 something shots a game.
Hmm.
They're a lot more spreading the ball out. They're a lot more getting the other superstar involved, whereas it's just Ant, he basically has to carry the team because Gobert is not going to give you as much as everybody thinks that he should, and I think he should too. He should be, a walking 2020, but he's not. He's maybe a 5 to 10, 12
Yeah.
points a game, 12 rebounds a game. I mean, he can rebound like nobody else, but he's not going to give you those points. Mike Conley's he's getting up there in age too, so you're not going to have him for too much longer.
Yeah,
He's always been one of my
Conley,
favorite players.
he aged in like 1 year. It's like he got really
Yeah.
old this year, it seemed like.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always kind of seen Mike Conley as kind of like that Lou Williams
Yeah.
sort of six man sort of thing, even though he's obviously in the starting rotation, but he's always just been that super consistent dude that's gonna get you 18 a night,
Yeah.
a
And
low key 18.
and the Wolves drafted Dillingham, their first round draft pick, who hasn't really played much. I don't think he has Finch's support. I don't think Finch likes his defense, and he can cross guys over, do all the flashy stuff. His shooting's still a little suspect, but I just think he doesn't have uh, Finch's trust, and that's why Conley has to still start. I know for a while there they wanted Dillingham to start, but it's like Conley's a veteran guy. He can hit open shots. He
Yeah,
runs the offense. He knows how to play the game, and
yeah,
everyone's like, "Oh, we need to start Dillingham. He's younger. He can score more." It's like it's not all about that. Conley knows his role. He doesn't have to score 20 a game. You know,
yeah.
10, 20 games. Just run the offense, get people involved, and that's what he's done. He started off pretty slow. Everyone wanted him traded the first month because he wasn't scoring 30 a game.
Yeah.
But no, I got no problems with Conley. I like him. He's always seems like nothing really bothers him.
Yeah, he's just that dude that shows up, gives you 20, and then goes home. And then he does it the next game. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah. And
like
he had a
I don't
couple
know.
18-point games last week too for us. I mean,
Yeah.
he can do it. He just knows that there's other people on the team that can score. There's Randall, there's Edwards. Jade McDaniels can score. He doesn't need to score all the time. He just needs to set guys up and run the offense.
I feel like Julius Randle kind of gave you guys that Jimmy Butler thing that was kind of missing.
Kind of
Like
bulldog like, right?
you guys definitely needed Cat, but I feel like Julius Randle has been pretty big for you guys. I mean,
Yeah,
pull up some notes here. You guys are 12 and 3 the last 15 games, averaging over 122 points,
yeah,
almost 40% from three. So I mean, he's contributing. He's getting
yeah.
you about 20 a game.
And he's
So,
kind of added a physical part to the Wolves too that isn't
oh,
normally there.
absolutely.
He posts
Absolutely.
guys up. He gets rebounds. He's taking charges. He's blocking shots. And he was another guy when we first got him for Cat. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, this guy sucks." He wasn't doing much, but now give it time. Let him get flow of the offense. New city and everything. Now he's
Yeah.
starting to show the Julius Randle from the Knicks.
I was gonna say, wasn't he coming off like a little bit of injury history from, or like when you guys got him from the Knicks, if I'm
Yeah,
not mistaken?
yeah, he was injured a little bit last year. I think he had like a
Yeah.
shoulder injury. I think,
Yeah.
and that was
But I mean,
he was All NBA for 2 years in a row, and
yeah.
everyone, how people jump to conclusions. Guy starts off bad, they want him gone. They're like, oh, let's get rid of him.
Yep.
It's not always about that.
Well, I mean, you look at you look at AD, like his first game, he goes down with an ankle injury when he gets to Dallas, and everybody's
Yeah,
like, "All right, cool. So best player for this guy. That's
yeah.
yeah, get him out,
And then
start over."
Kyrie gets injured too after that.
Yeah,
That's, I mean, what? That's just bad
rough.
luck. It's not like
That's
I
it's
get
rough.
what the Mavericks did. I understood what they did. Um, I don't necessarily know you trade a 24-year-old alt superstar, but they want a
Yeah,
defense. They're sick of Luca's antics. He's. I guess they said he was lazy. I don't know. That's what they said.
yeah,
Lazy and didn't want to put in the work, and then instantly Davis gets hurt. It's crazy how that worked.
yeah. You trade a guy you think is lazy and lacking on defense for a guy that his name, besides Anthony Davis, is street clothes. So I mean,
Yeah,
what did you think was gonna happen?
yeah, yeah. And
I mean, say what you
Mark
want
Cuban
about
doesn't
Luca,
own him
but
anymore. Mark Cuban's gone. He kind of voiced his displeasure with it too.
oh, absolutely. It's like, I mean, especially mid-season too.
That Maverick owner was getting like death threats. Did you see that?
Oh yeah,
They were kicking fans out of the game. They're coming in with signs, saying they wanted to kill Nico Harrison. Like,
yeah,
holy
yeah.
crap!
F Nico and all that stuff, and then
My God, I
yeah,
thought
then
we had
good
some
old-
crazy fans up here, but apparently Dallas has crazy fans.
yeah, I didn't realize that they were that invested, that like rabid. Like I knew they loved.
I thought they're all
Don't get me wrong,
Cowboy
I knew
fans,
they
right?
loved you. Yeah, they got
I guess
they
there
got to
are
have
some.
something to root for because my God,
Well, they haven't had anything to root for since Dirk left. They haven't really been that great.
no, yeah, that was in what 2011, something like that.
I know that.
Earlier than that,
So yeah, you're pretty close to that. Yeah, pretty close.
yeah. So it's
They're
yeah,
fighting
and
for a
then
playoff spot. Because the stupid playing game now. So 8, 9, and 10, or 9 and 10 get in as well.
yep.
So they're fighting with the Kings, and your Suns are failing. They've lost
Oh
5 in a
yeah,
row. The Suns. Oh
yeah.
my God.
I'm not, I'm not all about it.
They're gonna have the Blazers catch them here soon, and Blazers they benched all their starters.
Yeah, they're hopeless at this point. Most expensive roster, I think, in sports, if I'm not mistaken, or the highest salary cap in sports at this point.
I do give Cuban a lot of credit though for Dallas. He was a great owner. Everybody seemed to love him. He'd give
Yeah.
them what they want in the locker room, and
Yep.
you know, I've never heard a bad word about how he owned the team, Mark Cuban.
No, no. He was, yeah, he was great for him, and then all of a sudden, certain decisions were made,
Yeah,
and yeah, he's pretty stoked to be as far away from that as humanly possible at this point.
and the Suns owners were actually looking at buying the Twins, our baseball team, but they backed out of
Yep.
that and they bought part of I think the White Sox, the
Oh
Ishbias, I
God, I feel
believe.
bad for the White Sox now. Yep.
I
No,
mean,
I
maybe
shouldn't say
that's
too
good for
much.
the White Sox. I don't know. They need something because they're terrible. But
I feel like
uh,
Ishbia has a lot of good intentions. It's just, yeah, as far as getting players go and contracts and all that, I just kind of wish that they would maybe have another person be in
yeah,
charge of all of that.
are they pretty aggressive with what they do, or are they just? I heard
I
they're
mean,
aggressive in their like strategy.
yeah, because I think he took over, I want to say like 3 or 4 years ago, and the idea was to essentially retool everything, get the stadium back right, get the the concessions and stuff like that, like the whole team from the ground up was supposed to be better.
Hmm.
And then they signed Bradley Beal, and it all just fell apart from there. I mean,
they they
I was all in on it.
they trade Cameron Johnson too to the.
Yeah,
I thought he had a pretty bright future too for the Suns.
Johnson, Bridges,
That's right, Bridges. Yeah, he's having a good
yeah,
year in New
Bridges.
York.
He's not doing too bad.
Yeah, and
They were saying that was one of the best dudes that the Knicks could have got. I'm like, well, yeah, I know that. I watched this dude play for a couple years. He was pretty solid.
he's an all-world defender too. You don't see a lot of two-way players like him. that can
No,
score
three
and
and D,
defend. Yeah,
three and D guy. I mean, Iron Man. He plays every single game,
yeah.
so it's heartbreaking.
So the standings now. So who do you like in the West? Who do you like in the East? Obviously, my team in the West is going to be the Timberwolves, but if I can't
Yep.
pick them, you got to be solid with OKC for me. I mean,
Yep.
34-5 at home, and they have
Yeah.
best player. Well, one of the best players in the league,
Real.
Gilgeous Alexander, and they just have a bunch of guys that can knock threes down too.
Yeah. Yeah. They're super athletic. They don't necessarily have like that big guy. They don't have 7'2", 7 footer. That's constantly. I mean, I don't really look at Chet Holmgren in that way. I look at him
Yeah.
more of like we were talking about the Lakers earlier. I see Chet Holmgren as more of like a taller Jackson Hayes,
Mm-hmm.
where he's not going to bully anybody around, but he's athletic, he's quick, he's young, he's effective.
Yeah.
So
That's a good
they are
comparison.
definitely a scary team. Then you have Alex Caruso on there, who's solid. He's a lot like Bridges. He's carries that energy, carries that spark. He can kind of flirt with being the point guard sometimes.
Yep.
They have a scary all around team.
Yeah. Is that who you like in the West? Do you think, or what do you think
I
about
honestly like.
Houston or the Lakers or anything like that? Or maybe
I'm not too big on Houston.
Jokic.
Not too big on Houston. Denver is an issue. Denver and the Lakers are an issue.
See, the Wolves have beat Denver 6 times in a row, which is really crazy, because it seems
Yeah.
like this year when Jokic sits, which he only sat 5 minutes against us in double overtime. That's how much he played
Mm,
when he had that 61. But it seems like when he's off the bench, their team is awful. Well, I guess Murray missed the game too, so maybe
yeah.
maybe this isn't a good comparison. But Jamal Murray was out too. But when Jokic was off the court, they were bad. Like, it's like
Yeah.
what the heck is wrong with this team? But obviously, with Murray gone, that's gives a different element. But
Yeah.
I think Jokic, he's got to win MVP again, right? Over Gilgis,
I
or what do you
mean,
think?
you would think so. I mean, the guy's had all world performances this year. I mean, yeah, Shea has obviously been lighting it up, like without a doubt. He's number one in probably MVP standings almost unanimously. But then you can't really take your eyes off of Jokic. I mean, the dude just got a 50-point triple double,
Yeah, that's crazy.
and I think he was like what 30, 20, and 10 or something like that, like the game before.
Yeah, and then he had 61 against us in a
Yes,
loss.
60.
Yeah,
I think it was a 61-point triple double, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
yeah,
So you can't really ignore that. Yeah, when he's off the court, Denver Nuggets are absolutely terrible.
yeah.
But if you have a dude that can put up those numbers consistently, you can't really look at them and go, "No, I'm not really worried about them," because the dude's 7 foot. He's a walking triple double, and he can also score almost better than anybody else in the league, including
Yeah,
Shea.
yeah,
So I think with that matchup, if that matchup came to be like, okay, cool, Shea and Jokic pretty much cancel each other out. So then you have to look at the rest of the roster.
hmm yeah. And like
And
OKC, Jalen Williams can shoot the ball. He's a good
yep,
shooter. Um, they got a couple other guys that can shoot the ball, and I think they just create a nightmare for Denver. OKC would.
yeah,
Yeah, Houston's got too many guys that I think demand the ball too much. Jalen Green, I think, shoots too much.
yep,
Well, it's a good thing they got rid of Kevin Porter Jr. He has some legal issues, but them two were taking like 30 some shots a game, and nobody else would get to shoot the ball.
yeah.
I
And then you
think
got
they'll
Kobe
be
White just coming out of nowhere too.
yeah, I think they'll be good, but as of right now, I think they're a little too young, and I just don't think they share the ball well enough to really go any farther.
Yeah, I think they're kind of one of those like one-hit wonders where
Hmm
like just a young team just kind of lucks into the playoffs. They're understanding how good they can be
Yeah,
with their potential, but I still think they're at least like one or two pieces away.
and they're likely going to lock up the second seed. You got a My Wolves are battling the Clippers and Grizzlies and Warriors for the 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's pretty close. They're all within one game. And
Yeah. Yeah.
like, if the Wolves wouldn't have lost to Indiana twice, Charlotte, Brooklyn, um, God, who? Oh, New Orleans. Those are some of the losses we had, a couple months ago. Where
Uh,
every time we go on a 3-4 game winning streak, we do one of these losses where we play like a bad team, and then get a
yeah.
couple losses in a row. It's like can't keep any consistency going here.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of that's to do with just trying not to trying not to play every single game up to the level that you should, because that just kind of weighs on you, especially coming up to the playoffs in a couple week or a week or two.
Hmm.
Because I mean, you guys turned it on in March, April so far.
Yeah, yeah. We got. I think we got the Bucks coming up, and then we have like Utah and Brooklyn again or something like that. So we have a lot of winnable games here throughout the season that we need to
Yeah.
make sure we win those. So we have, let's see, wow, 5 games left. It's getting to be that. Wow, I didn't know it was that close to the end.
That's insane.
What
That's
about the
insane.
East? Who do you like in the East? I know Cleveland, Boston, but Boston's too old for me. I mean, not old in age, but they're always in it. They always win it. I kind of
Yeah.
want to see the Pistons do something. I like that team, that Piston team.
You
I know
like
they
the
probably won't
Pistons.
go very far, but they got some good young players on that team.
I think it'd be cool to see, but definitely not. Yeah, I'm not taking my eyes off the Cavaliers because they're a scary team.
They have really good defense too.
They're a scary team, and they've all bought in.
Yep.
That's the part for me that sticks out the most is they've all bought in. They've been
Yep.
here once or twice together, and it's like, all right, I think they got a shot to do it. I don't remember what analyst was talking earlier, but yeah, they're really hyped to see the Cavaliers versus the Lakers in the finals, which huge long shot,
Oh
but
God.
that
Oh God. Yeah.
that would
Those
be awesome.
those storylines, huh?
Oh God, so many storylines.
I just think you got to watch out for Boston. They're a veteran team. They know how to win. Jason Tatum. You can't always forget about him. I'd like to see Boston Cleveland Eastern Finals. That'd be fun. I think
I
it'd be a
feel like
pretty close series.
that's definitely gonna happen. And the thing that Boston has going for them that Cleveland doesn't is they're not worried if they get down.
Yep.
I mean, if they're down in a series, they just keep doing what they're doing, and they know they're gonna come back.
Yep.
I mean, they have an entire lineup they can rely on, whether it's, Porzingis, Brown, Tatum, anybody.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
And like,
earlier in the season, they had two different guys that were like, 4 or 5 man on the roster that dropped 40 points each in the same game. So it's
yeah,
like,
isn't that crazy?
how
The
do you,
depth they have.
yeah,
Darius Garland's taking his game to another level. Evan
yep,
Mobley's the great draft pick that they needed out of him, and
yep,
then obviously getting Spida.
yeah.
What that? I'm trying to I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Oh, Mitchell,
Yeah,
Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan. Yeah, God, he's been
Yeah, then
crazy too.
you got Jared Allen out there trying to do his best LeBron impression, where he's, cocking back, trying to throw it down.
I love that afro. I love his afro. That thing is awesome.
Oh yeah. I
He,
like that dude as a whole. I mean, he's such a low key, just super cool, happy guy. Like, just you could tell he loves the position
yeah,
that he's in, and he loves the team as a whole. I mean,
yep. Brooklyn
they
just
hype each
dumped
other
him
up.
off.
Yeah,
Just pretty much
that
gave
was
up
dumb
on
on
him.
their part. Yeah, that was dumb on their part.
I mean, I don't really know what direction Brooklyn's going. They go and get Cam Johnson. They get rid of Jared Allen. They go and I think they got rid of a couple other guys. Like, what are they trying to do? Are they trying to be good? Are they trying to be bad? I mean, I don't really know Brooklyn's direction.
Yeah, I can't really tell either. I can't tell if it's like a rebuild sort of period or if they're still trying to compete or like half-ass compete because it kind of seems like they're trying to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
It's almost like they're trying to gauge where they're at just by running it a season and going, okay, well, we didn't get our asses kicked as bad as we thought, so we're
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I mean, if that's the path you're taking, then by all means, go for it. That's just a pretty risky venture.
yeah. They've always been pretty risky with the stuff they did. The whole getting Paul Pierce KG thing back in the day, doing that. Even old guy like Joe Johnson bringing him in as well, and it's
Yeah.
like, what direction are you guys trying to go here?
Yeah, and then they went all in on having Steve Nash coach Kyrie, KD, and James Harden,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. What do you
which
think?
I
What
don't
do you think
know.
about Steve Nash for now? You say that Nash for all-time point guard. What do you think he ranks?
He's got to be up there, man. I mean,
Two or three MVPs?
he
Did he have three or two?
I think he had two.
Back to back, weren't they?
Believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
Believe
Okay.
so.
That was
And
back
I
with
actually
Amari
just watched,
Stoudemire.
yeah, and I was
Yeah.
actually just watching something about that the other day. He won back-to-back MVPs, but you have to look at who was uh, maybe not necessarily at their peaks, but who was around at that time. He won it over, obviously Shaquille O'Neal's still pretty pissed about it,
Mm-hmm.
but you had LeBron James coming into the league. You still had Kobe Bryant, T-Mac, um, it's Tim Duncan. I mean, God, you name it. Some of the best players all time were
Yeah.
playing at the same time that Steve Nash was, and he was still two-time MVP back to back.
Yeah.
That just shows you how good that dude was. And he was leading the fastest offense in the league. Stoudemire went down for almost half a season, and they were
Yeah.
still just absolutely crushing it. And the guy could take over a game whenever he wanted to. Um,
That was
'Cause I
D'Antoni, wasn't it?
remember, yep, it was D'Antoni.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast, I think it was The Ringer with Raja Bell.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, he was kind of joking. He was like, "Dude, I was so frustrated because Steve Nash, obviously like quintessential point guard, just wanted to dish it to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the guy was a 50, 40, 90 shooter.
Yeah.
He could
I was
he
gonna
could
say.
shoot the hell out of the ball. So anytime he wanted to, or when the game was close, and watching this as a kid, be down, 6, 9, 12 going into the fourth quarter, he would just bring the ball up, shoot a couple of threes, make it, and be like, okay, cool, now we're back in it. Now I get to
Yeah.
pass again. It's like,
Yep.
why don't you keep doing that shit? 'Cause you were killing it.
I remember. I remember he would never miss free throws. Like when he would miss, he'd be like 95%, and
Yeah,
that team was crazy back then. They had Sean Marion, Amari Stoudemire,
yep.
Nash. They had
Raja
another
Bell, Leandro Barbosa, who ended up playing for the Warriors.
Barbosa. I remember how quick that guy was, man. He was so fast.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Raja
But they
Bell was
were
like your shutdown defender type guy who could knock down threes.
who can knock, yep, exactly. So they were essentially the Warriors before the Warriors. They were
Hmm.
just kind of ahead of their time, which is why that style of play didn't work because not everybody was shooting threes like that. Not everybody, it was a different system.
Yeah. Who was the power
But
forward on that team? I know they had Amari at the 5'4". They had another guy that was didn't really contribute a lot, but he was a good shot blocker. I thought back on that Sun
um,
team.
God, I'm trying to remember. It was so long ago. I know we got Joe Johnson for a little bit. That was later on though.
So you guys had another big man that was. I mean, he wasn't a scoring machine, but he was pretty decent. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it's just Amari. But
I can't think of.
I told my buddy because the Suns they would always beat the Wolves back then, and I would
Hmm.
be so jealous of that Sun team because they were so good. And when
Yeah.
Amari Stoudemire came into the league, I told my buddy, I said, if this guy ever develops a shot, he will be. Because remember when he came in, he was just a big dunker.
Yeah.
And I said, if he ever develops a shot, he's going to be all NBA. And what,
Yep.
4 or 5 years, he developed that baseline shot, that little
Hmm.
15 footer. It's just injuries was the problem with him. He just had those
Yeah.
chronic injuries. I think he could have been a lot better without injuries. He
Oh,
had a lot of
absolutely.
talent.
Absolutely.
I thought he was playing in some. Was he at the Unrivaled events or something like that? I think I saw him.
I think so. Yeah. I know he does commentary.
Yeah, okay, that's where I saw. I know I saw him somewhere with the glasses on or whatever he was wearing.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Good old Amari.
Exactly.
What other NBA stuff do you got? You got anything you want to add for NBA? Any topics or anything like
Mm,
that?
I don't know. Did you want to touch on the whole Bronny thing, or do you wanna leave?
Yeah, we can do that.
That, that's a big story. It's anytime you turn on the TV, all you hear about is LA. So
One of the first ever uh, guaranteed contract, right, for Bronny.
yep,
He was a he was the second round pick, right? Or was he
yeah,
first?
he was pick 55,
Yeah, so
so the
that's what
second
it was.
round.
So first ever guaranteed 2 year contract for a second round pick, right? Is that what it was?
Yep, I think so. Yeah,
What do you think about that whole situation? I think he can be a contributor on a team. I don't think he could be a starter at this point. I think he could be a role player. Is where I have like his max.
yeah.
Just because I haven't seen much out of him, it's. I know he can't really shoot well, but I mean, neither could LeBron, neither could Jordan when they came into the league. They developed that,
No,
later on. But I don't know. I just think, at the most, I see him as a role player.
it's it's really hard to gauge because his first, obviously, he was getting a bunch of flack for his, I think, first 12 games or something like that. Your guy only played like 12 minutes a game, if that,
Yeah,
and so his stats were horrible. But when you look, I mean, it's weird looking at him because when he first got into the league, it's like, oh, send him to the G League, let him develop.
yeah,
He's averaging like 30 points a game. He put up 39 a couple days ago. So it went from put him in the G League to well, that's just the G League. Oh, it's like, okay, well, then he gets into he has a good NBA game.
hmm
After a couple of months in the G League and barely doing anything in the NBA, knocks down like three threes and then gets the ball on the outside and then drives it against Giannis.
yeah.
Well, it's like clearly he's
Fearless.
developing
hmm
something because he dropped 17 against the Bucks, which not a super great defensive team, but he still dropped 17 against the Bucks. And just
Yeah,
looking at his style of play, fearless and confident, then it's like, oh well, he only dropped 17. It's like,
yeah.
what is actually going to be good enough for people?
It's
Because
a lot of the talk has stopped though about the whole.
yeah,
He sucks. He's there for his dad. Now it's like just what you said. Oh well, he only scored 17. Okay, whatever. He scored against the backups or whatever. It's like, well, I mean, he can't go in when he goes in when the coach tells him to. It's not his fault who he plays. But
yeah,
he puts up numbers, and people are just gonna say, "Oh, well, he only had 2 rebounds or he had 1 assist." They're gonna point out something that he didn't do. It's
yeah,
always gonna be like that for
exactly.
him, and it sucks for him because that's just who his dad is.
And that's it. That's what the thing is they're looking at a 6'3" 19-year-old, 20-year-old, and well, why can't you do the same thing that your dad did? Well, dad is 6'9", 260.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's also the fact that he his dad has been doing this his entire life.
hmm
Bronny didn't really even play in college.
Yeah.
So we go from high school to barely college to G League, and then it's like, okay, well, he's only doing this in the G. It's like, yeah, but they
hmm
drafted him based off why wouldn't you draft him based off of potential alone?
Yeah.
His baseline for compared to other players is all the way up here.
Yep.
He's been coached by the second greatest, the first greatest, depending on who you talk about. That's who's been coaching him his entire life. Is
hmm
undoubtedly the smartest player that's ever played. I mean, everybody says he's the smartest player that's ever played. So you don't think his baseline is slightly higher? His understanding of the game is slightly higher than everybody else's coming into the league even?
Yeah.
So
I,
why
I think
wouldn't you
that's
draft a player like that?
I think that's one thing that he does. One of his best traits is his IQ, and he's fearless
Yes.
out there. He's not scared of anyone. He'll drive on anyone. He's not afraid to make mistakes, which is good for a young player.
Yeah.
And people forget the dude almost died. They didn't know if he
Yeah.
was going to play again, and he came back
Well, that
from
doesn't.
that, and now he's in the NBA. It's like people forgot about that.
Well, that doesn't fit into the narrative.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
That gives him an excuse to be at the level that he's not. So
Yeah,
that doesn't exactly fit into that he sucks. It's like, well, he almost died. Yeah, but
yeah.
I mean, he still sucks. It's like, no, the dude almost died. It cost him a little time, you know?
How long do you
So
think LeBron's gonna keep playing? Honestly, now, do you,
I think at least 2 or 3 more years.
he's like he's 40 now, I think.
Yeah, just turned 40.
You can tell he's slowing down, but Jesus, he just keeps putting up these numbers every year.
Yeah, it's he's got that Tom Brady thing where, according to everybody, he should have retired back in 2018,
Yeah,
2 years before he won his next title. So,
yeah,
I mean,
and he just keeps putting up numbers, and you can tell though, end of games how tired he is compared to
oh yeah,
back in the day, and he'll even tell you, he
yeah,
goes, I'm exhausted,
yeah,
and his shooting's not as great as it used to be. He's never been like a great 3-point shooter in his career, but
no,
he had that stretch this year. What was he like 0 for like 30 or something like that from three? When he took
oh
time
yeah,
away or something from the team,
yep,
he took time away. He was in a huge shooting slump at that time, and it's all over the news, of course, because it's LeBron, but he doesn't
yeah.
get in a lot of those slumps.
No, not really. He's been pretty consistent over his career, I guess, for the most part. I mean, he had that stretch, was it last year, 2 years ago, where he was pulling up from the logo like two or
Yeah,
three times a game.
yeah,
It was like, what? Where has this been for the past 20 years? Like,
hmm,
you haven't been doing that.
yep,
But apparently, when you can't take off from the free throw line and dunk over 2 or 3 dudes anymore, you gotta start shooting a little bit. So
he's still doing like alley oop dunks too, like
yeah,
running, jumping from the black line, which is a pretty good jump for a 40-year-old, dunking over people. He's still doing that stuff. I can't believe it.
he's still catching outlet passes. I mean, Luca gets the ball under the rim, turns around, and just throws it straight across the court. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not as impressive as what he was doing with D Wade. The catching it in midair on the opposite side of the court and dunking it.
yeah,
Never seen anything like that, but he's still getting up and down the court, running the offense.
yep.
Huge contributor, and just his presence alone is he's still top 10 in the league.
Yeah. You think the Lakers? I mean, they got to add someone else next year, right? I mean, or do you think they stay with the Luca, LeBron, like Austin Reeves type thing? You think they add like a veteran guy that can get them over the top?
Maybe I wouldn't necessarily say a veteran guy. I would say I don't necessarily think they need a center, judging by the system that they have.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the Warriors they did have a center, but it was also a very athletic center. It wasn't a catch the ball under the because as soon as you toss the ball to a 7-footer under the rim, the offense just stalls.
Hmm.
Everybody just kind of stands there, waits for that dude to put in some work,
Yeah, that's true.
chucks the
Yep.
ball up, and if he doesn't make it, then it's going back the other way. Whereas if you have a guy that is maybe that size, not necessarily a scorer, but a facilitator, that would help them a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
Because they didn't have that with AD, which is why that trade made perfect sense to me. Because you throw the ball, low post to AD, the play is dead until he does something with it. He doesn't have that court vision, that
Hmm.
passing ability that a Luka provides. So it kind of stalls out the offense a little bit. I'm not really sure what kind of player they need.
So you want you see a lot more like point guards playing off the ball nowadays in the NBA. You know,
Yep.
but for Luca, you almost want to have him with the ball because he can do so many things. He can pull up and shoot. He can drive. He can
Mhm.
pass. So I don't know if
Yep.
it would be like a two guard or if it'd be like a three or a four. I mean, LeBron plays what, the three, right? Reeves might play the two,
Man, I don't really
vice
know what
versa,
LeBron
whatever they
plays, to be
play.
completely honest
Yeah,
with you.
vice versa, two or the three or the four
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
There's so many teams that go small in the NBA. They barely even have a center out there, but
Yeah.
so I don't think they need. Yeah, I don't think they need a point guard or a center. I think maybe like a wing or maybe another shooter or something.
I was just about to say, if anything, they would need a player like Mikal Bridges to really round out round out that offense and that defensive system.
Just think if they got him, how much better, even
Now,
defensively, they would be.
yeah, because they force people to shoot threes.
Yeah,
So if you have a dude whose specialty is protecting the 3-point line, that would just yeah, that would be nuts. I think that's what they really need.
I don't want to think about that because they've always beat us in the playoffs back in the day, early 2000s. Back when I had Timberwolves season tickets back then, and oh man, it made me go home mad a lot after playing the
Oh, I
Lakers in
bet.
the playoffs. They would always,
Yeah.
Kobe, Shaq, Robert Ory, all them.
Yep.
Oh, that sucked. All right, their college basketball's going on right now. Auburn's playing Florida. Did you do any brackets? Do you do the, Do you
I
do
did
the,
not.
no? Ah, Auburn's up 4. It's early. So you got Auburn, Florida. You got Duke and Houston, the Cougars, which
Yep.
they've never won a national title. The Houston Cougars, as many times as they've been to the Final Four, it's crazy. I think the favorite's got to be Duke. You
I
know,
was gonna say I don't think they're winning it this year either, man. I'll be honest with you.
Duke starts 3 freshmen. That's crazy. I mean,
Ugh.
my team, you probably know this, Gophers. They're
Yep.
horrible. They got down to 1 player on their roster because of graduation and transfers. And they have a new coach. So there's just a lot of stuff going on with my team. We haven't been relevant since the early 2000s. We had our Final Four vacated for cheating. So
Oh,
that's how awesome we are.
hell yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna be Duke and Florida. I think it's gonna be the final.
I think Duke and Florida, and I think Duke might pull it out.
So you had a who are the Tritons or whatever that you're writing about?
Oh, UC San Diego. Yep.
Were they a 16 seed or a 15 seed?
Uh,
They were a high
I want
seed,
to say
right?
they were. Yeah, I think that I want to say they were like 11th or something,
Oh, were they?
something like
Okay.
that. Yeah, they were. Yeah.
It's cool seeing those type of teams though. Those little schools just kind of pop up and you get in the tournament. Is that the first time they've ever been in it?
Yeah, that was their first year of eligibility because they were a D2 team and then they transferred to
Oh,
D1.
okay.
I want to say like 3-4 years ago. And so right before they played, God, who did they play? I think Michigan. Yeah, they played Michigan, and the head coach of Michigan was asked about them, and he's like, "Yeah, they were on my radar before the season even started." He's like, "I have a list. I had a list of teams, like 5 or 6 teams that I wanted to study in the off season," and he's like, "They were on it." So
Isn't that crazy?
yeah,
That the
so
Michigan
everybody
coach
knew they
says
were
that.
kind of going to be a problem. They knew they were going to be a problem, but
And then St. John's. Too bad they.
that's St. John's.
I had them going at least Elite Eight, I think.
Ah, yeah, I was crushed when both of them lost, man.
See, the younger son Richard, he's going to Xavier
New
now.
Mexico. Oh,
He
oh
just
yeah,
signed
from New
for
Mexico. Yeah.
Xavier, so that's kind of an upgrade for him. Good for him. He was a former
Yep.
Gopher coach for a while. Richard was,
Oh, really?
I think, 3-4 years. It's funny because we had both Richard Pitino and I don't know if you know Dan Munson. He used to coach Florida Gulf Coast, and
Mm-hmm.
they got in the tournament. Well, it's funny that those two got in the tournament. Our current coach couldn't. It's just crazy how we get rid of them, and then all of a sudden they do so well at other schools.
Yeah.
It's pretty dysfunctional up here for sports. You know,
Yeah.
even pro college, it's pretty dysfunctional up here.
Yeah. I mean, it's not any better over in Arizona, man. I can tell you that much.
We're starving for a winner. I mean, at least you guys had like Kurt Warner back in the day.
Hey, we're gonna have Bryce James soon. All right.
You guys think you'll get him?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he already committed to University of Arizona,
He's
so we
playing
got him.
football or is he playing basketball?
Basketball.
I heard he's supposed to be better than Bronny. Like he's
Yeah.
better than him.
he was. I think it was Gilbert Arenas was saying he's actually like he's a more intelligent player than Bronny is too, and he's like 6'7".
Oh wow, God, I didn't know he was that
So
tall.
I didn't either until a couple years ago.
Crazy.
But
He's
yeah,
he's
so we'll
gonna be a
see. But
freshman next year,
yeah,
so he'll be a one and done guy probably.
I hope not. I hope he stays in for at least a year or two. I mean, just to get some experience and not follow the same path that Bronny did, where plays a year and then declares for the draft, and everybody is just trashing him the entire time.
I mean, Arizona had Sean Miller for a while too as their coach. I don't know if you remember Sean Miller. That was
Mm,
a few years
vaguely,
ago, something like that. But
vaguely.
he's always coaching around somewhere. But they had, I think Reggie Miller played for Arizona.
He did.
I believe so,
And
yeah.
I think Richard Jefferson, Gilbert Arenas played.
I wish I had their school. I mean, we don't get those type of players up here. We have to overpay, or they have to be really really good and want to stay, but they never want to stay, or they always go to the bigger schools.
Well, especially now with the whole NIL thing, man. I don't think players are really going to stay too long anyway, or at least 2 years as soon as they get their eligibility, they'll probably run it for 2 years and then they're out.
It's gonna kill the AAU and the international game too, because you used to be able to play internationally for 6-figure income. Now, why
Yeah.
would you want to with nil? And there's no point playing
Yeah.
overseas unless you don't
Yeah,
make it to
exactly.
the next level. But
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
it's gonna be
But
interesting to see what happens.
I mean, the upside too is certain teams like like St. John's, like Rick Pitino was talking about after they got bounced, is the good thing for some of those teams that are in those Power Five conferences. If they don't have a football team, their basketball team is getting all of that money.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah, who knows? Who knows how it's gonna work? What do you what do you think about college players getting paid now?
I mean, I've actually kind of transitioned my interest more into the college game of basketball because I don't
Mm,
like the politics in the NBA. I still follow
yeah.
NBA a lot, obviously, but I think it's killed the game. It's taken over college football. The nil has,
Yep.
and
Yep.
it's slowly getting into college basketball. I mean, yeah, I think they should make money off of it, but that's what everybody wants now. It's just money. There's no
Yeah.
passion anymore. It feels like guys wanted to play for their choice and win. Now
Yeah.
it's like I'm going to where I can get the most money now, quick. Which I mean I don't blame them, but it's taking
Yeah.
away the passion of the game and the reason to want to win.
Yeah. Taking away passion and loyalty. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if you if you light it up as a freshman and get paid all this money, you're typically on a 1 year deal.
Yep.
I mean, you're seeing it right now in the transition from, Sweet 16 to Final Four. It's how many players are leaving their teams next year, even though they're in it right now, or they
Mm-hmm.
were in the last round,
Yeah.
and there's already reports saying, oh yeah, even though my team's in the Sweet 16 or has a chance to make this playoff run, I'm done after this year. I'm going somewhere else. It's
There's
like,
so many people in the transfer portal right now.
yeah,
And I think there's one guy, or a couple guys in the tournament they already declared before the team was still in it.
yeah,
Like you're saying,
yep,
yeah, it's like you're just gonna go for. I mean, if you're gonna make the NBA, what's the point? You're gonna get your money, right?
yeah,
But some of these guys, if they're not gonna make it to the NBA, it's like, yeah, I want all the money I can get in college, now.
yeah.
But don't you think it kind of takes over like having a job and like doing your responsibilities and stuff too?
Oh, 100%,
It's like
100%.
these guys, they're gonna get to the NBA and not have to work a day in their life. I mean, basketball's a job, but you kind of know what I'm
Yeah,
saying. It's like they don't really know what everyday work is. Some of these players.
And the whole thing with getting to the NBA was work your ass off in college, make a little bit of money,
Yeah,
on the DL a little bit because you're not supposed to, but
yeah.
there's
Johnny
there's still
Manziel.
obviously, yeah, exactly. There's still that stuff going on, but nobody cared because it wasn't an exorbitant amount of money.
Hmm.
It's it's good in the sense that they get used to having money before they get to the NBA or before they get to the NFL because then all they have to worry about is playing.
Yeah.
But I feel like that mentality should be focused on college at the same time, whereas they get into college, they're already worried about the next step.
Hmm.
And it's like, yeah, you're used to the money, so the money's not necessarily an issue when you get to the professional level, which is great. There's more maturity, there's less, oh, we made it, we're gonna spend, we're gonna ball out, spend all this money. You don't really
Yep.
have that as much, but you also don't have any loyalty.
Yeah. None at all.
And there's not necessarily that drive where it's like, oh yeah, I already made 3, 4 mil in college. Yeah, I'm just gonna ride the bench in the NBA. Like, why the fuck am I gonna try so hard if I know it's not the same for everybody, but I feel like it's gonna happen.
Yeah, and there are talks with the Big Ten. They get their big revenue sharing plan for next year, so there's going to be more nil money. The
Yeah.
Gophers have already said they're going to get about 5 to 6 million estimated, and
Mhm.
that's a huge jump up from what they had this year. They were third to worst in Big Ten for no money. Um, but as they get more money, everybody else in the conference gets more money. So it's like
Yep.
it's just kind of like an evening out. It's like, okay, 5 million for us, 5 million for Michigan State, 5 million for Maryland. So they're not
Yeah.
really gaining anything. They're just getting more money, but other schools can offer more. It's always
Yeah.
going to be like that.
Right.
It seems like.
Yeah. And it's like, how are you gonna go all in on one $6 million dude and hope that he can carry you, or are you gonna split it up and go 250, 250, 250? Like, how are you guys gonna go about that?
And part of it, having a winning school helps, and that's something we haven't
Yeah.
had. Is a winning school, and that's why people can just kind of get an offer from Minnesota. Oh yeah, they're one of my offers, but I'm not going to go there. A lot of in-state guys. First thing they look at is, well, now no money, but first thing they looked at before is prestige. Has
Yeah.
that school won in a while? Who's their coach? What's their training facilities like? Well, the Gophers have new training facilities now, but they haven't won in 10 plus years anything. So
Yeah.
it's an easy choice.
Yeah, it could help or hurt. I can't really, because I mean,
Yeah.
like you look at Rutgers and it's like, well, Rutgers hasn't really won anything in a while too, but they also have two of the most popular players in college basketball.
Hmm. Yeah.
And they
How the
both
hell
went
did they
on
get
record as
them?
saying
How the hell did they get them?
they because of the NIL, sort of landscape and opportunities that there were there. So
Yeah.
it it's good in the sense that not everybody's going to a Duke, not everybody's going to a Kentucky, but it does come down to which schools can offer the most money, and it's unfortunate that it can help, but it can also hurt
Hmm.
because, like you guys, for example, if you want to build from the ground up and not spend a ton of money and just get some pretty good players, maybe that guy that you guys were looking at that goes, well, you guys got good players and we can go here, but I'm not going to be the guy.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this team down the road can pay me like $4 million. We're going to be a shit team, but
Hmm.
I'm going to be $4 million richer, so I don't really care too much.
Yeah.
So
They've
it's like,
lost all Wisconsin, Iowa State, um, even Indiana. Those are kind of the
mm,
schools that a lot of the Minnesota players branch over to, even Iowa. But pretty
yeah,
much Iowa State, Wisconsin, Michigan State. He's surrounded by the big nil teams. And it's like, well, shoot, we can't compete with that. If you guys want money, then we're out. But maybe
yeah,
the new coach will. He's already attracted a couple of players, decent players from his school, and another guy from Michigan that came over. So maybe that'll help the program get a little
yeah.
better.
Who knows? Who knows?
You
It's
want
just
to
it's
shift over
so
some
hard to judge.
NFL?
Sounds good to me.
So, draft coming up. Uh, where do you see Shador Sanders? I have to ask you about Sanders first.
Yeah. I honestly see him.
Think he's better or worse than Cam Ward?
It's hard to say because his offensive line was so bad that I can't really. I think Cam Ward is better all around. I think Shador has a lot going for him in the sense that he's tough. He got hit more times than any quarterback probably in the league.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know. You also had Travis Hunter, who's,
hmm
not bad. So
Another
he kind of,
Colorado guy.
yeah, so he helped not only build your lead by catching touchdowns, but he also protected your lead by getting interceptions. So
Yeah,
it's really hard to judge how good Shador Sanders is because yeah, Travis Hunter, he also has a pretty good head coach that
yeah,
knows a little bit that put him in a position to succeed. I think I don't see Shador going number one.
yeah. I don't think I do either. I think it's either going to be Ward or Travis Hunter.
Yeah,
And is Travis Hunter going to play two way, or is he just going to be a? Or is he? What position did he declare at? A wide receiver? Or is it cornerback?
I'm not I'm not sure. I don't think he'll be allowed to play two-way unless he ends up somewhere like God forbid he ends up with the Chiefs, but
Oh
Andy
God!
Reid just kind of strikes me as the type of dude that would let him be a two-way player.
Just think of the injury risk that would cause
Oh
playing
yeah,
both ways. You
absolutely.
play almost every
Which is
play.
yeah, which is why I don't see that happening. But if I think there's a couple of coaches that maybe would do that a little bit here and there throughout the season.
Yeah. Um,
It'd be fun to watch.
Cowboys. Micah Parsons. He is going to be a free agent at the end of the year.
No surprise.
And Jerry is also hasn't been willing to throw a lot of money at guys, has he? Recently, Jerry Jones.
I don't know what Jerry Jones's deal is. It he he has his own way of doing things, and yet his way of doing things never seems to work out for the betterment of the team. He he wants to do things his way just so he can get the credit if or when it goes well, but it never goes well, so he's constantly blamed and then he
Yeah.
gets pissed off because people blame him. It's like, dude, you are literally saying every single year you
hmm
basically want full control and have things done your way, but you're also not listening to your own players. You're
Yeah.
not following what other teams in the league are doing, like the Eagles, where as soon as the season was done, they just got all the salary negotiations for their biggest players out of the way. They don't have to worry about it. And they
Yeah.
saved like a couple $1 million in the salary cap next year. And it was like last
Yeah.
year going into it, Micah wanted to get paid, Dak wanted to get paid, CD wanted to get paid, and it's like you can't. How are you running a team with your most important pieces sitting there going, well, if you're not going to pay me, I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
How do you keep making those same mistakes, man?
And they paid Dak. I think they might have paid the wrong guy, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, they overpaid him for sure.
And he ran out Jason Garrett. Like him being down at the
Yep.
sideline. You have a coach for a reason, and I get Jerry Jones wants the power and wants to be in charge, but you have a coach for a reason. If you hire this guy to be your coach, you should have trust in him. You shouldn't be down the field. Okay, do this, do that. No, I want this done. No, you're gonna do it this way. It's just like it doesn't work. Look at Dan Marino too. When he tried to be a GM and a owner too, that failed.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't work out. And I think Garrett got the wrong end of the stick there.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's just the same thing year after year with the Cowboys. They're they're a first round out every single time, and I don't
hmm
really know what if they make it. If they make it, they're a first round out.
But they're always hyped too. They're always hyped. Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
Cowboys going all the way. Look at this team. Yeah, look at them. They're not going to make the playoffs again. You know.
They are the only team that hasn't won anything in over 30 years, and everybody still talks about them like they won last year.
Yeah,
When are
that's
we
how
going to
they act.
stop doing that? When are we going to stop doing that?
Are they still America's team? Because when can we change that too? I mean,
They can't be. They can't be, right?
no, I wouldn't agree.
I mean, Taylor Swift is dating somebody from the Chiefs and everybody loves her, so they should be America's team. You
Yeah,
would think.
I'm so tired of the Chiefs. I mean, that's. Did you watch the Super Bowl? I assumed you did,
Oh,
right?
that was god awful.
I was so against it going in, and I don't know why I even watched it, but the Chiefs just bother me. I just I don't know what it is. They just bother me.
At first, I thought it was kind of like I don't even know what you call it, but for lack of better words, like a greatness hangover where you're sick of it. You can only take so much more, kind of like Brady was for the
Yeah.
longest time. Is I hated Brady, but I knew every single time my team faced him, he was gonna kick our asses.
Mm-hmm.
But I still didn't like him.
Yep.
It was impossible to root against him. If he was down by a touchdown or whatever going into the fourth quarter with like 2 minutes left, and he got the ball, you're like, oh, well,
Yep.
I mean, might as well just pack it up right now because he's gonna win.
We're screwed. Yep. He's gonna come back and win.
Exactly. The Chiefs had the same thing going against them, but for some reason, it was a lot different. And I think it was because they were starting to cross over into like celebrity status,
Yeah.
where Brady kind of was, but nobody else on the team really was like that.
Mm-hmm.
But because you have one more guy on the team besides the quarterback that was getting a bunch of hype, forgetting that he's been a Hall of Famer for 2, 3 years.
Yeah.
Let's not talk
Yeah.
about that. Let's
Exactly.
talk about his commercials and things like that. Let's focus on that. Not the numbers that the guys have been putting up, but
Yeah.
it's just I think it has a lot to do with the whole celebrity thing and people were getting a double dose. Not only was it sports talk all the time about how good the Chiefs are, how bad the Chiefs are, how good the Chiefs should be, it was, well, now we're seeing these guys on commercials acting like they're
Mm-hmm.
the best ever, and it's like, well, because they're kind of getting to the point where they might be,
Yeah.
and then they fell
Exactly.
off, and everybody was like, all right, thank God we don't have another dynasty team that's going to be really good for a long time. It's like, be, shouldn't you marvel at the team that's putting up those kind of numbers that has that kind of record? But
Yeah.
I think there was just a little bit of that celebrity thing mixed in, where it was just easy to hate on them.
Yep. Yeah. It's kind of how I feel exactly about the Chiefs.
Yeah,
You see them everywhere. They're like every commercial. You see Kelsey everywhere. You see Mahomes everywhere. It's
yeah,
like, God, these guys are always on. Give it a break.
yeah, yeah.
What can
But I don't know. We'll see.
what can you tell me about Trey McBride, Cardinal tight end? Uh Extended.
I'm stoked about it. He's one of the things we got going for us.
Is he young? Is he pretty young? I don't know
Believe-
much about McBride.
I want to say he's only been in the league for like 4 or 5 years. I don't really know his whole resume there.
NFL's highest paid tight end.
Let's
Crazy.
go. Wait, really? I thought what that dude from oh wait, no, he's still on a rookie deal, I'm assuming. The guy from Oakland. I don't know why I can't think of his name right now.
Oh yeah. I had him in fantasy.
I would know his name if I saw his face, but I can't think of it at all.
So he's making 19 million.
Good God.
Um, 17.125 Kelsey was at, so he went ahead of that. 43 million guaranteed. It's a 4-year extension for $76 million. You don't see that thrown out for tight ends, but I mean the guy
Good
just put up
God.
numbers for a couple of years now.
Yeah. He's been solid. I ju- I don't really get hyped about the Cardinals anymore because I don't like our quarterback. I do
Oh,
not like
Kyler,
Kyler Murray. I don't like him.
he's so short. I don't get how he can see what he's doing. Even he's so short.
I mean, Arizona had a history for a little while of getting the old veteran quarterback that nobody believed in,
Yeah,
and then we'd have him for 3 or 4 years, and it'd be the best 3 or 4 years of his career. It happened back to back with Warner and then with Palmer.
Yep.
Like I swear, watching those days, like 2000, what was it, 2012 to like 2018, whenever that
Yeah.
was. As soon as you turn on the game, it was like, okay, cool. Cardinals have the ball. Within like 30 seconds, they would score a touchdown every single game because he would just chuck it down the field and then just walk off the field like Steph Curry hitting a three. He would just chuck it, ball would still be in the air. He'd just start walking towards the sideline. He knew somebody was going to catch it. It was ridiculous.
Can you see the can you see the Cardinals going for a quarterback? You think Murray's going to be the guy again?
I mean, we haven't gotten rid of him yet. It's it's a
God,
bad sign to keep some dude that has written into his contract that he has to study. That's a scary thing for a fan.
for real? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it was like 2 seasons ago where it's
Oh my
actually written
god.
into his contract that he needed to watch game film, he needed to study.
So would he like forget the
It's
plays and stuff too, or?
he just didn't care as much, I guess. Yeah,
God.
there was some back and forth. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
So it's
Marvin
I was,
Harrison. You got Marvin Harrison. Now you got Trey McBride. If you guys can get another receiver, and James Conner's okay, but he's always injury prone.
yeah. Well, actually, I'm glad you brought up Harrison because was at the very beginning of last season. Uh, I think reporters were asking Kyler about Harrison, and they're like, "Yeah, his numbers are not quite what we expected for him going into the league. You know what's going on?" Kyler Murray's direct response as a quarterback talking about a wide receiver, "It's not my job to get him the ball." That is your only job, actually.
What
Yeah,
is
I
Kyler
could try
Murray?
to pull up the clip.
Is he really that dumb? What people say? So he is really
He's
not smart.
That is what he said. He said, "My job is not to get him the ball," or something along those lines. I'm like, motherfucker, that's your only job.
Yeah,
That
maybe
is
he
what you
doesn't want
do.
to play quarterback. Maybe he doesn't want to be the quarterback anymore. Like trying to run
I
himself
don't
out of
know.
Arizona.
I don't know. I'm like, dude, we got the top receiver in the draft, and then we got this dude saying, "Yeah, I'm not." He's supposed
That
to get the
is.
ball somehow.
So, what do you think
I'm
their
not doing
biggest
it.
need is for the draft?
I would say O-line.
O line.
If we're sticking with Kyler, we got to get an O-lineman that is like 6 foot even, so Kyler can actually see over his ass, but wide enough to where he can get protection still.
Do they?
So we just need a pancake out there. That's what we need.
I didn't see they were very active in the free agency, were they?
Nah.
I mean, the Vikings were crazy active. The Vikings addressed a lot of needs. They got two very nice offensive linemen, a guard and a center, both from the Colts. They got D line. They got a couple cornerbacks. They re-signed their running back. I mean, I still think they could use. They need secondary help, obviously. A lot of people
Yep.
retired and left, but I don't know. As long as we got rid of Cousins, I'm happy now. I hated that guy.
I mean, you guys could get Aaron Rodgers too, so I bet you're looking forward to that.
Oh God. I hope he for sure. Did he sign with the Steelers yet? Or is that still up in the
I don't.
air?
I think it might be up in the air. I think he's gonna follow the exact
Oh
route
my
that
God.
that his old buddy Favre did, where goes from the Eagles to the Jets, or no, from the Packers to the Jets and then the Vikings.
He does this every year. Like
Yeah.
he always like hamstrung the Packers. Never give them a decision, right away. So they go into the draft. Oh well, we don't know if we're gonna have to draft a quarterback. We don't even know if Rodgers is coming back or not. He did that for
Yeah.
consecutive years. It's like I heard he's not a very good locker room player, Aaron Rodgers. I heard a lot of players don't really care for him. Have you heard that or not?
I've heard both. I've heard that a lot of people inside the locker room think he's a great teammate and they respect him and blah blah blah, but then you hear other reports of him being like really standoffish and not really helping some of the young guys and just expecting them to figure it out. It's like you're a Hall of Fame. Like you're who they've been watching for the past 20 years, and you're telling them just to figure it out. Like they came here to figure it out with you.
Yeah.
Like they were excited to play with you, and now you're telling them like, yeah, go, go practice falling down. I'll be there in a minute. It's like, dude, come on. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah, you know that his family like stopped talking to him years ago. They cut
Yeah.
off all like everything with him. They don't talk to him because they don't like him. And
Yeah.
I know he hasn't had the best relationships either. I know he's kind of dated a lot of you know supermodels, but I heard they always end up saying how weird he is.
I mean, it doesn't take to be his girlfriend, being his girlfriend to figure out the dude's he's a little out there.
I mean, he goes
He's a
and
little out there.
does these retreats and goes out in the middle of nowhere and does drugs or whatever and for
Yep.
4 days and then oh here he's back. Here he is.
Yeah. Yeah, or
Yeah.
was it last season during OTAs he was in Egypt
Yeah.
doing something.
Yeah, they
It's
said,
like,
"Oh
what the
yeah,
hell are you
OTAs are
doing?
here." Oh, I'm not going to be there. I gotta go on vacation.
Yeah, like you're coming off from a like almost a career-ending injury. This is your first year back, and you're doing what in the off season?
Yeah, exactly.
Like they kept bringing up, like this is Aaron Rodgers is over in Egypt. Meanwhile, Tom Brady during COVID, like almost got arrested because he was in just a regular ass park throwing routes to his teammates when he wasn't
Yeah.
supposed to.
Yep.
It just shows the level. There's levels to it. There's levels to it.
Yeah. So, what do you think about the
But
the Raiders going to Vegas? What do you think about that?
I think it's good. I don't think California needs 10 teams. I think they're just fine with having, the three or four that they got. Vegas is an awesome market, awesome place to play.
I want to go there. I've never
I
been
th
there.
I'll be honest, man, I haven't either. But
I just want to feel it. I
markets,
just want to know what it's like.
yeah. And honestly, I think that we are talking about LeBron earlier. I think once LeBron retires, I think he's going to try to do something with the Raiders.
I
Like
think
part owner, the
Brady already
investor, or
has some
something.
stake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think is
So
Pete Carroll there? Is he coaching the Raiders now? Pete Carroll?
I think he might be. Yeah, I think you're right.
How the hell
I
did they
didn't
get
even
him
think about that.
out of the dead? He's got to be in his 70s now. He really
Oh
wants
yeah,
to coach again. I mean, it's a
he's
lot of
he's still
stress
out
for
there.
him.
He's chucking the ball. He's catching it. He's throwing routes. He's a
Man.
spry 70-year-old.
Well, anything you wanted to add? Anything
Ah,
comes up for you?
think the Eagles are going to win again this year?
God, I hope not.
You hope
But
not.
they they're gonna have everybody back again. You know, they like you said earlier they re-signed a lot of their guys and they're good on both ends of the balls. They got Jalen Hurts had a kind of a step down year last year, but still won the. 2 years ago he was great.
Yeah,
But if you got a quarterback, a game manager like that, who's better than a game manager like Hurts, I think they got a pretty good shot to go back.
I think they do too.
The
I
O
don't.
line though kind of scares me for them because they had some injuries this last year, and they're getting older. That's the only
Yep.
thing that the only thing holding them back. I think their O line's health.
I heard something crazy the other day that they have just on their offensive line. They have the biggest average offensive line in the NFL.
It's probably why they're so good at that tush push run
Yeah,
with Hurts or whatever.
I think. I think they averaged like 300 and like 15 pounds or something like that on their offensive line,
Jeez, that's crazy.
which is the biggest in the NFL. I'm like, well, yeah, and then they're talking about taking out the tush push. It's like you guys are just pissed off because you can't defend against it. Like
Yeah,
now you're trying to take it out?
the Packers were the only team that uh, they put in a letter to the NFL trying to ban it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like so that's basically like that it's basically the equivalent of like back when James Harden was doing James Harden shit.
Yeah,
Shooting those threes, getting fouled. It's like so you're gonna take that out because he can do that all the time.
Yep.
Or maybe just put a hand in his face and whatever happens, happens. If you can't stop it, it's not the play's fault that you can't stop the play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's like Eagles are going to keep doing it. Okay, well, you guys have to prove that you can stop it.
Yeah, then draft bigger dudes and do it back to them. I don't
Yeah,
really know. I just think it's ridiculous.
I think that I think Lane Johnson's one of their big offensive linemen. He's been there
Yep.
forever. I
Yep.
don't think that guy's ever going to retire. Seems like he's been in
It
the league
does
for 20 years.
doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, I think the
He
Eagles
just
have a
kind of
good chance. I think 49ers are going to be a little bit better because they didn't have McCaffrey was hurt. Ayuk was
yeah.
out for the year as a receiver. They had a couple defensive guys go out. Frank Warner's not there. I think they're going to be better because they're always putting together a good team, free agency, trade wise.
I mean,
Vikings have
they're
got to
gonna
be
have to
better
be better.
for what they've done.
They're gonna have to be. I
Yeah.
mean, their entire all of their best players are they're getting up there. They're getting
Yeah.
up there.
And what do you think about Purdy? You think he's one of the top 10 quarterbacks or not?
I think so. To
Yeah.
be completely honest with you, I think he is.
He was Mr.
I don't.
Irrelevant, right? Last pick of the
Yeah,
draft. Isn't that crazy?
yeah, Mr. Irrelevant, and then
God.
he puts up pretty consistent numbers for the most part, and then it's like, oh well, he's just a game manager. Tom Brady was a game manager, and he's the greatest ever.
Hmm.
So Tom Brady wasn't exactly known for chucking the ball 60 yards every single play or taking off for a run because the guy ran a 4.7, something like that.
Yeah.
He just made the right plays at the right time, which is exactly what Purdy does. So I
Yeah.
don't really understand how he's getting knocked for something that is part of his job.
Hmm. I forgot
Like,
to
cool,
say
the
Purdy.
guy's,
He was hurt too a little bit last year, wasn't he?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So they had three of their top offensive players out. McCaffrey was hurt for most of the year. Ayuk tore his ACL, I think week 5. I think Purdy
Yep.
was out for most of the year. So yeah, they've got to be better. They can't be any worse than they were last year.
No, it's like Purdy was missing his entire team practically. Everybody calls them the Avengers. He was missing most of the Avengers, and they
Yeah.
were still
Yeah.
pretty damn good for the most part. So
Yeah. So what do you
I
think it's
don't
going to
really
be for
know.
NFC? You think Eagles and you got another team you think is going to creep up there?
Detroit. I
Detroit?
love Detroit. I am so excited about Detroit, man.
That's my division.
14-3 last year, best start that they've ever, or best record I think that they've ever had.
Yeah.
They're a scary team. They're all bought in. What they did to the Cowboys, that was mean.
Yeah.
Also
Yeah, they destroyed
hysterical
them.
because it was so intentional. I mean, you were up like 35-10. There's no reason why you should be throwing touchdown passes to your linemen, but
That
you
was
know,
great. I love that.
why not? Oh my God, that was brutal. But that honestly, I bring that up to that's the character of that team.
Yeah.
Is they're like, yeah, we're gonna beat your ass, and depending on who it is, we're gonna do it just because it's fun.
It fits the mindset of Campbell to a T, the way they play.
Yeah, yeah, and I think partly they did that because nobody was taking them seriously, even though they killed it the year before. It was like, okay, well that was a fluke season. It's like, okay, cool. Well, we're gonna double down on our style of play, and we're just gonna beat your ass even harder
Yeah.
this year. How about that?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Lions are a scary team as well. I don't like to include them because they're in our division, but they're definitely a force, you know.
yeah,
Uh, I always loved Calvin Johnson back in the day. He was so good.
yeah,
And
yeah.
injury,
I
another
loved
another
watching
thing,
him as African.
injuries took his career. If he wasn't injured,
Yep,
Barry Sanders was another one for the Lions.
yep,
If he didn't get
yep.
injured, you think Barry Sanders best running back of all time, or what do you think?
Ooh, I think so. Yeah.
I mean, you got Walter Payton, you got Jim Brown. Maybe some people say Emmett Smith.
Mm.
Uh, Yeah, I
Yeah, I'm
would.
trying to.
I think for me, I think I would put Barry Sanders in there. I always played old Tecmo Bowl back in the day. I mean, I'm old, so I would play Tecmo Bowl on the Nintendo and play Barry Sanders and see the moves he'd always do.
I would say Barry Sanders, and I would not just because, Vikings fan. I would say Adrian Peterson has got to be in the top three.
I like that. Yeah,
He's got to be up there. I mean,
he had a stretch where he was what 5 6 year stretch where he was just dominant every year.
unstoppable.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I'd say
quickness and
it's
the strength he had to just go through guys.
he was like a cross between Derrick Henry and Chris Johnson.
Yeah, yep.
Like if those two had a baby, it would have been Adrian Peterson.
There were defenders that would say they did not like tackling him because of
Oh no,
the nature of how he ran, how hard
because he
he
wouldn't
ran.
try to run around people. He would look for contact.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And
But I
fumbling
think
issues was his
Sanders,
biggest thing. He
y-
fumbled a lot. That was his biggest issue.
yeah,
But yeah, he was dominant, dominant.
I'd say Sanders, Peterson, and probably you got to put LT up there. LaDainian
Oh, I forgot
Tomlinson
about
was
Tomlinson. Yes,
an
Tomlinson
absolute
is
unit.
him and Antonio
Absolute unit.
Gates were crazy.
Yeah,
Philip Rivers,
yeah,
Antonio Gates, Tomlinson. Yeah, that was. They had Junior Seau on their defense for a while.
yep,
Rest in peace, Junior Seau.
yep. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
that's
think I think you got to put LT up there.
yeah. Emmett had a lot of yards, but he also played till he was 40, and he also had one of the best offensive lines for like 10 years straight. That Cowboy
Yeah,
offensive line.
I was gonna say it was not the Cardinals' offensive line. So,
He shouldn't have gone to Arizona. What do you think? He should have never gone
hey
there.
man, hey man, we were excited to have him. All right, he was the biggest dude. He was the biggest dude we had for a minute.
But
So
he was in his 30s, though, wasn't he, when he got to Arizona?
yeah, he was pretty much out the door.
Yeah. Well, I do love a former Cardinal wide receiver, Larry Fitzgerald from Minnesota.
Yes, sir.
That dude
Yes, sir.
is. If you have the word class, Larry Fitzgerald would be right number one for class. The guy is a great dude. I've met him
Absolutely.
personally. Uh,
Really?
yep, at a high school event a couple years ago. He was doing a clinic, and he
Huh.
came right up to me and he said, "Hey, how are you doing?"
That's
Oh
awesome.
shit, Larry Fitzgerald. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He went to high school around where I live, Holy Angels, and he used to
Okay.
be a ball boy for the Vikings when he was a kid.
That's awesome.
His dad still writes for the local paper,
Wow.
Larry Senior. So,
That's awesome.
I grew up in Minnesota. I moved to Wisconsin here probably 5 years ago, so I'm right on the border still. But I'm diehard Minnesota, sports everything. You know,
Gotcha.
if people are listening, I hate the Packers. I hate the Badgers. Even though I have to write about some of those teams,
Yep.
it kills me
There's
writing about the Brewers because I'm such a huge Twins fan. But
yeah.
it's like we don't have a baseball site, so it's like I can't. I'm not going to
Yeah.
cover the Packers. That'd be against my fanism.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
But
At least you can't write anything nice about them. You can talk about how much they suck, but yeah, who knows?
yeah, that's another thing. So if people don't know, I mentioned earlier. So we write for Sports Heroics.
Yep.
That's the name. The sites are Hardwood Heroics. Cover NBA, college basketball, and then do you write for Gridiron Heroics or not? Do you do the football site?
No, I do not.
I don't either. Too. I think they have like selected people that might write for that. Um,
Yeah.
so Sports Heroics, they cover football, basketball, NBA, college, and then Wisconsin Sports Heroic is their Wisconsin site for all Wisconsin teams: Badgers, Brewers, Bucks, all them. So I put the website out there for people in the chat to see that and follow up. We write a few articles when we can.
Yep.
Wish we could do it a lot more, but my schedule doesn't really work well with that.
Same.
You
So
know,
there was a topic that I was really curious about. I didn't know if you wanted to bring it up
sure,
this time or save it for next time.
sure.
It's cringy, but just let me flesh it out a little bit.
Uh-oh, okay.
So why is the GOAT debate so different in the NBA, specifically the NBA, than it is in any other sport?
Well, I mean, I think parity with the other sports. I think there's just been so many players that have been good to great, not like better than great, like LeBron and Jordan, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Um, Especially for football, you think they would have a goat, like a selected goat, because of the popularity of it.
Yeah.
I guess maybe marketability, maybe a little bit. Maybe NBA markets a different way. They market their stars a little bit better than maybe the NFL or MLB or hockey does.
Yeah.
I'm
I,
not
I
quite
feel
sure.
like
That's a good question. You know?
there's just more criticism in the NBA for some reason. Like they're not
Yeah,
they I never really like I tracked Brady pretty much his entire I never heard people talk about Brady versus Montana the same way that they talk about LeBron versus MJ. It was never, yeah,
that's a good
well, it
point.
doesn't matter how many rings Brady gets. Well, dude has
Yeah,
six. So all of a sudden he's the GOAT.
yeah,
But you still have people talking about Montana. He only has five. He's 5-0. Brady's what, 7-3 in
yeah,
Super Bowls? But even before that, he was the GOAT. And then he wins his last one, like 3 years ago. And it's like, oh yeah, solidified GOAT. So he's the standard. So it's not Super Bowl record because Montana never lost.
yeah,
And then you talk about wide receiver, like we were just talking about. There's Jerry Rice, and then there's everybody else.
yep,
And hockey, you have the great one. Then you have I mean, Alex
hmm,
Ovechkin now, who's tied with him, but Wayne Gretzky is still called the great one. I
hmm,
don't think Alex Ovechkin is ever going to be called the GOAT.
yeah.
He's just the guy that surpassed him.
And baseball, you have like Babe Ruth and everybody else, right?
Yeah, Hank Aaron. Yeah,
Yeah,
Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, couple other dudes, and then
yeah.
everybody else. Not Barry. Sorry, Barry Bonds fans, not him. But
That's a good question. Why is it so much more of a topic for NBA GOAT? You know,
because it's not rings.
it might be marketability. I'm not sure. It's maybe the way the NBA portrays them. I mean, I know they're always on ESPN talking about it, but
Yeah,
NFL plays on ESPN every once in a while. Yeah, Sunday night, right? Or Monday night?
yeah, yeah. I think
So
so.
it
One of
can't
them.
be that. It can't be the network. It's got to be how they market it, maybe. I don't know.
I think it's I think it's a combination of how they market it and how how he presents himself as a player, not an individual. Like you have like the best scorers of all time. You have I'll just run off a couple like Jordan, Kobe, you had T-Mac, you had some of those Allen Iverson. Apparently all those guys are better than LeBron because they were score first.
Yeah.
So what happens if you have a pass first guy that just accidentally scored more points than anybody else in NBA history?
Yeah. That's a good
And it's
question.
because it's not the best image. If
Yeah.
you
It's not
have
as
the greatest
flashy, right?
scorer of all time, you're gonna want that guy to be a score first guy. Well, if he was a score first guy, he would have broke that record 10 years ago.
Hmm.
So I think it's different just because, and it's not like Jordan was recent.
Yeah.
It's not like Kobe was in his prime 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But LeBron James was the best player in the world. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He's been the best player in the world for a long time,
Hmm.
but he's never going to be that. So it's has nothing to do with how many championships, because Bill Russell has 11. Nobody's
Yeah.
ever gonna. Robert Ory has more fucking championships
Yeah,
than
he
LeBron
does.
James does,
Robert
like by a
Ory.
lot. So it's not
another.
championships.
Yeah,
It's not stats because LeBron James head and shoulders above everybody else in stats.
yeah,
It's the fact that he's taken longer than everybody else wanted him to take to achieve what he's achieved.
yeah, yeah. That's a good take.
Yet,
Yeah,
yet it took Tom Brady 22 seasons to get 6 Super Bowls.
hmm,
But then he got those, and now all of a sudden he's the greatest of all time.
yeah,
But I think Peyton Manning still has more passing yards and passing touchdowns than him, I think. So
yeah. I think
it's
he does.
it's just it's just weird to me. I wanted to know your opinion on it.
I think it's very weird. Like, it seems like it's a topic every other day on ESPN with
Yeah.
Jordan, LeBron, especially lately. Uh, with what LeBron does, he's still setting records. Every week LeBron is with points, assists, rebounds. Well, when you play that long, you're gonna have the stats. But for some reason, the NBA is just talked about way more than everywhere else. I've never heard of hockey ever talk about the GOAT because it's always Gretzky, right?
Yeah.
And like football, have you ever heard football talk about the GOAT besides maybe Brady?
No.
But it's not as
It's
publicized as NBA one is. It's
no.
always talked about. Even the
It's
off
like
season, they talk
Brady.
about it.
Yeah, it's like Brady. You talk about quarterbacks, it's like, oh, Brady. You talk about wide receivers, oh, it's Jerry Rice. You talk about anybody on the defense, it's oh, Lawrence Taylor.
Hmm.
Running backs, Barry Sanders. It's like they're so clear cut. It's like, well, there's not too much room for debate.
Yeah. Do you think
And
eras?
because
Do you think eras has anything to do with the NBA comparisons
it
of goats?
dri it drives me crazy when media dudes talk about eras because they're like, oh, LeBron couldn't have played back then. It was too physical. They would have whooped his ass.
Yeah.
Guess what? Somebody that's 6'8", 260, that's the fastest dude on the court now, guess what? He can also be more physical.
Yeah.
Like, you're only bringing one side into it. You're only saying, oh, they're going to kick his ass. Well, you think he's going to play the exact same as he does now?
Yeah.
No, he's going to be running through dudes, just like he was earlier on in his career when it was more physical.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they could say, oh, Jordan would average 40 in this day and age because they don't play defense or whatever. Well, I mean, it's not necessarily that true.
Yeah, it's a different game for sure, but do you really it's like thinking about when you were a kid and you were doing a bunch of stupid stuff, right?
Oh, the 12th and 26th of this month, better shift
Like
for this.
oh yeah, this that was so dangerous. I can't believe we used to do that. I'm glad that we don't do that anymore. You've matured. That's what the game has done. It's matured. It's not dudes
Yeah.
were fighting on the court,
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
running up into the stands and whooping fans' ass because they were saying you're you're telling me that was better than it is now? Like granted, a lot more threes, way different system, a lot of ticky-tack fouls that you barely touch somebody, they flop to the ground. I get all that.
Yeah.
That stuff needs to change.
Yeah.
But you're saying the game was more fun to watch back. I mean, I'm thinking maybe like mid 90s to like mid 2000s personally was, I thought, the best era of
Yeah.
basketball.
Tim Duncan, KG, Kobe, all them.
Yeah, yeah. And you're saying a dude that's been the best player in the league through 3 different iterations of the league, 4 different iterations of the league, couldn't have adapted to that.
Yeah.
The game has evolved so, and he's still one of the best.
Well, and then they bring in even like Larry Bird. Say, oh, he couldn't play in the game nowadays, or he'd have 60 points per game now.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
well, back, yeah, like saying LeBron, oh, he can't play back in the day because it's too physical. Like you said, the guy's 6'8", 260. I don't think physicality has anything to do with. Look at him now. He's running through guys even when he's 40. I don't think that
yeah,
really is going to affect him. But I
yeah,
think the hard fouls might have an effect on him. But the physicality is not going to affect guys like LeBron. I mean, He runs through guys
Yeah.
nowadays.
Well, the last team, I mean, a lot of dudes that were saying this, they happen to be on the 2013, 2014 Celtics back when, they were physical and, whooping bronze. Yeah, he dropped 45 points on
Yeah,
you guys in one of the best playoff performances in NBA history. You guys were doing everything you possibly could to stop him, and he dropped 45 points on you.
yeah,
And you're saying that he couldn't compete 10 years before that? 20 years before that?
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It's just adaptability, right? You just adapt on what teams are doing to you. It's just like you see a zone for the first time. Okay, you might be a little bad at it at first, but you adapt to it. You
Yeah.
you change the way you play, and he can play in any era. I believe. I mean, Curry could play back in the day too. He could play back in the '90s because
Yeah.
he's a shooter.
Yeah.
And LeBron's physical. He'll fit right in with the guys back in the '90s.
Oh yeah. They push and bump him. Yeah, he push and bump him right back. Only difference is he's 6'8", 260. Not
Yeah.
everybody was that. Like they act like everybody was monstrous and big but no, man, they were
No.
big and they were strong. They were slow.
Well, you had Charles Barkley back then. That's the type
No.
of big they had back then. Charles
Yeah.
Barkley.
Yeah. A dude that would just get pissed off and start swinging. It's like, okay, cool. Well, you're out the game and LeBron's still in the damn game, and the rest of your team has to deal with a pissed off LeBron. Now, like, that's not, how is that better?
The undersized centers is what you saw a lot back in the '90s. Like because I think Barkley's only like 6'9".
Yeah.
But I mean, you had Elijah Wan. He was 7 feet. Shaq was 7 feet. But you had a lot of guys that were kind of like 6'9", 6'10"
Yeah.
at the center spot. And now you see centers, 7-foot centers shooting threes. Now in today's game, it's kind of funny how
Yeah.
everything's changed. From used to be a post up kind of low scoring game back in the '90s. And now it's like there's like zero post up. It's all threes and dunks and fast pace.
Yeah. It's like, okay, cool. Maybe LeBron couldn't play back then. What about Jokic?
Yeah, that's
What would
he's
they
another
do
one.
against him?
I think he would be something. That would be something they would never be able to adapt to
No.
because the way he plays. He can shoot, he can pass. He still does post up.
Yeah, he's strong as hell.
He's 7 feet and he takes the ball down the court as a point guard.
Yeah, and then
It's like
and then he's looking at as soon as he's looking at the basket and then he goes, "Yeah, I don't like that shot," and does this and kicks it out to some behind his head to somebody's at the 3-point line
yeah, yeah.
that he's not even looking at. And he
Back
does
in the
that
day, yeah.
10
Sorry to
times
cut
a
you off
game.
there. Yeah.
No, it's all good.
Back in the day, you didn't see 7-footers in the '90s bring the ball up. Now you got
Or shoot.
Giannis bringing the ball up. You got
Yeah.
Jokic bringing the ball up. You got, Towns bringing the ball up. How would they adapt to that back in '90s ball? I just don't know. So
Yeah.
yeah, they would be able to play. They would be able to play with them just like LeBron would.
Yeah.
Just got hosted on Kick. Thanks for the host, Cowboy Trucker. Appreciate that.
Hey, hey.
We're running through our podcast here. This is Jesse, one of my writer buddies. My writing adventure I've been doing for a few months here. We write for Hardwood Heroics,
Yep.
NBA, college ball. We actually talked a lot of everything today. We've talked NFL, we've talked NBA, we've talked college.
Yeah. Covered quite a bit.
Kind of a different way just to bring people together rather than just writing about it. We can talk about it and kick back and talk about stories about our teams. It's been fun.
Yeah. It's a lot easier than writing. I've actually been talking to my lady about doing the podcast too, and
Yeah.
it's so much easier than just writing, you know? You have so
Yeah.
many ideas and so many different narratives floating through your head about it's hard to pick one thing to write about
Mm-hmm.
and make a full story about it because there's a lot more to it than that. And
For me,
it's
yeah, for me, It's the freaking grammar and stuff, fixing all the editing, and God, I hate
Yeah,
doing that. Where talking, it's like I could mess up and say something stupid. It doesn't matter. I could
yeah,
swear and don't have to worry about how my paragraph
exactly.
sounds.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Getting that high SEO score, trying to
yeah,
check all those boxes.
I mean, I enjoy doing it, but this just gives you a different kind of way to do it. And it'd be
Yeah,
nice if
exactly.
maybe some of the other people would want to come check this out and do it. I think it's fun.
Yeah, definitely. It's the first time I've ever been on a podcast before. Usually I'm just streaming to nobody on Twitch playing Warzone and getting pissed off, you know? So this is a nice change of pace.
I actually, I was streaming games up till about a month ago, and I kind of quit doing that. I wanted to really focus on podcasts, but uh, make it somewhat bigger. But it takes time. So
Yeah.
I took like 8 or so months off last year, and like my following's just depleted now because you
Oh,
know how it is. You're
yeah.
that long off, people forget about you. They go and find someone else, and
Yeah.
podcast is kind of what I like doing. Just and you being from a different area, you can cover different teams. It's kind of cool for me to talk to other people from different areas because it's different than just talking. Oh, what's going on with Minnesota sports or what's going on with Wisconsin sports? I like hearing
Yeah.
about different teams and different areas. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I can definitely relate. You were talking about how the Lakers used to kick your guys' ass all the man. I'm right there with you. I hated Kobe, dude. I not
Yeah.
really, but
The thing was,
every single year.
I hated Kobe and Shaq until they retired, and then I respected them. It's
Yeah.
like
You because you
it's
didn't
like
have to
holy
play against them
crap.
anymore.
I found out what Kobe was all about, his mentality, his winning mentality,
Yeah.
his
Yep.
competitiveness, and I just respected the hell out of that. I'm like, holy shit, this guy's actually pretty cool. Even
I gotta.
Shaq, how Shaq kind of raises his kids and how
Yeah.
he's a good family man. Granted, I mean, yeah, he's been divorced a couple times, but whatever, I don't know how
Yeah.
or why, but I heard he's really good with his kids. He doesn't give them everything. Like just say, "Oh, here's a new car." He makes them earn it. And see,
Yeah.
that made me respect Shaq a lot more. Now I can actually handle him. But back when they
Yeah.
played, man, oh, I would get so pissed off. As a teenager, there'd be a lot of things broken when I came home.
Yeah. Oh
Oh,
yeah. Oh yeah. No, I felt the same way about Kobe. There was actually, I think it was one of the playoff games where I got a ton more respect from Kobe Bryant, or for Kobe Bryant, I should say, because they were asking him post game about Mari Stoudemire, and
yeah,
they're like,
Mari. Yep.
what did you, what do you need to do next game in order to, like Stoudemire just kind of had like a freak performance where I mean, he had like 35, 10, and 8 or something like that. And Kobe Bryant just looks at him like they were stupid, and he's like, yeah, he's a good player. Like, what do you expect?
Yeah,
Like, what do you expect us to do against you? You realize Steve Nash is one of the best point guards did you forget about him?
yeah,
He's giving Stoudemire the ball. Those two together, they're good players, man. What do you expect us to? It was it was really cool because to him it was a no-brainer,
hmm
and it put the reporters in their place because they're looking at him going, oh well, you're Kobe Bryant. You should stop them. And he's like, dude, he's a good NBA player. What
yeah,
what more do you want from us? So I had a lot more respect for Kobe Bryant, and then yeah, same as soon as it was a little bit before he retired, but I started appreciating him
yeah.
a lot more.
Like when he tore his Achilles and he went up to the line and hit the free throws. Just the drive and competitiveness out of that guy. He never wanted to let his teammates down. He never wanted to lose. You know,
Yeah,
guy's got a torn Achilles. And he goes up there and hits 2 free throws and then comes out.
yeah, but yeah, my favorite player growing up was always Tracy McGrady. It was Tracy McGrady and then Steve Nash.
Good old
And then
T
LeBron
Mac.
came into the league. LeBron came into the league, and I remember watching that game against the Rockets his rookie year, watching him going up against T-Mac, and I'm like, they're the exact same.
Yeah,
Like this whole Jordan, Magic sort of. He's Tracy McGrady 2.0 is what he is.
almost the same. I know LeBron's a lot bigger now, but they're almost the same stature when he came into the league, LeBron, as
Stature,
T-Mac.
defensive stance. I mean, how they would shoot the ball, how they would drive. It was like he was a quicker, slimmer, younger T-Mac at the time.
Yeah, obviously a big KG fan, being from Minnesota.
Oh,
Um,
me too. He was God.
I love Karl Malone. I love that Jazz team, Stockton Malone. Um, yeah, KG. I liked Patrick Ewing for the Knicks.
Hmm.
I always loved the Nick Heat rivalry back in the day with Alonzo Mourning and
Yep.
all them, and
Yep.
Charles
Yep.
Oakley on the
Yep.
Knicks. It'd always be a fight when those teams would play. And
I like the early Detroit, like the early 2000s Detroit team too.
with
With
Rip Hamilton and Tajon Prince and all them.
yeah, Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace,
Yeah,
Chauncey Billups. My God.
they won with who's the hell was their old coach again? The old guy.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look it up. I don't know off the top of my head.
You
I'm
know,
gonna
he's
have to
been
look that
around.
up. Something.
Yeah,
It's gonna bug me.
yeah. And was that when
Oh,
Hamilton had to wear the mask, right? A couple
yeah.
during that time. I
Yep.
remember that. Good old Rip Hamilton. He went to UConn. They won at
Oh, did
UConn with he played with Khalil El-Amin. The reason why I bring that up is El-Amin was their guard on that UConn team. He
he?
went to Minneapolis North High School, local here.
Yeah.
So
All
that's
right.
why I know that team very well. And Richard Hamilton
Gotcha.
was obviously the best player on the team.
Yeah,
But,
those dudes were.
Chet Holmgren also went to academy school here in my area.
That I did not know.
He went to Minnehaha Academy, which is a suburb of St. Paul.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he and Jalen Suggs also.
Okay.
He's
Yeah,
a
Jalen Suggs was
Minnesota
a
guy too.
monster.
He
Jalen
can't
Suggs was a
stay
monster.
healthy.
No.
He was tearing it up for
You
Orlando early in the year. He got hurt, and I think they shut him down for the year now.
you think do you think Chet Holmgren has the most swag of any white dude in the NBA right now, or
Yeah, I think he does. Yeah, he's got the drip going, doesn't he?
he does for sure.
He's got some nice ass clothes, the stuff he wears, and he
He,
can. I know he's kind of big and goofy looking, but he makes it look good. The shit he wears.
yeah.
Did you see last couple OKC interviews? They've been putting like towels on the interviewer guy, Chet
Yep.
Holmgren,
Yep.
like putting like banners or like ribbons and stuff over them and putting their towels
Yeah.
over them. That's pretty funny.
They got a good squad, man. They got a good squad for sure.
See if Chet can stay healthy too. He's another guy who's been injured a lot.
Yep.
Well, should we sign off here? What time is it? 6:45 out here. What do you got going on for the rest of your night?
Man, I'll probably be jumping on some Warzone or some Apex here in a little while.
Yeah, Warzone, New Verdansk, right? Is that what you've been doing?
Renew Verdansk.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Just dropped like 2 days ago, so looking forward to it.
I'll I'll probably be on MLB The Show for a while.
Nice. I gotta get on that too, man.
They have a fun co-op, but
I watched a couple of streamers play and it looks like a
yeah,
blast, so I gotta try to get on that.
it's a lot better. They did a lot of changes this year, actually. That I've liked. They don't all just pump out 99s right away. So you're
Hmm.
playing a team that, if you don't play a lot and don't have your players, well, you're playing a team that has all 99s. They didn't do that this year. They're taking their time with it, and it's fun.
It
Wish I
looks
had
like
more time to
blast.
play it though.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard my kids earlier. My kids are sitting out there screaming. My dog's barking. It's like every time I come down here to either write or do something, it's dad, or the
Yep.
dog's barking, or kids are fighting out in the other room. That's the crazy schedule.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you doing this. We should do another one soon.
Yeah, of course, man. Anytime, anytime.
We can make it a weekly thing if you want.
Absolutely.
Even come
Absolutely.
up with a name. You could come up with a name. Right now, it's just the nameless podcast.
Uh, yeah, we
Anyone
could,
has any bright ideas or anything?
yeah, brainstorm.
Yeah, I'd like to do the sports heroic name, but obviously I don't have authority to do that. I can't put
Yeah.
their name out
Oh,
there.
yeah.
But never got back to me on that. Must not have been a good idea. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, "Oh yeah, we got that in the works." I'm like, "All right, cool. Well,
Yeah,
when is it gonna happen?"
yeah.
It seems like a lot's in the works, you know?
I let him know a couple like 2 weeks ago, and I still haven't got anything back. But we'll just do our thing then, huh?
Yeah, I guess
Huh?
so. Guess so. We don't
And
need those guys anyway.
we've had some viewers on. I know YouTube didn't have much in YouTube, but a lot of the other sites, people were chatting and stuff.
Nice.
The more you do
Yeah,
it, the
can
more
make.
people will see it and catch on to it, and hopefully they can take some of our insight on sports.
Yep. I will have more insight the next time around, I promise.
Yeah, no, it was good. I had fun. Hopefully, it won't be another LeBron and Jordan week like it seemed like it was the last
It's
couple weeks.
God, it's always gonna be. It's always gonna be. That Stephen A. Smith stuff was wild though. It was fun. It was fun to watch while it lasted.
Talking about how he would have knocked out LeBron or something if he would put his hands on him.
Like, why do you have to say that?
I'm surprised he didn't get suspended for saying that. You know, stuff like I was gonna fight him or I'll put him down in his place. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
dude,
If
why are you
LeBron would have
saying
put
that?
hands on me, I would have swung on him. But he proceeded, or yeah, he's what he said first was he's like, oh yeah, he would have kicked my ass. But if he would have put hands on me, I would have swung. Why?
Yeah,
Like, first of all, it's LeBron James. He's not gonna put his hands on you. Like, he's not gonna do that
yeah. You
in
know,
front of an entire arena. Like, why do you even need to bring that up?
he's the highest paid guy on ESPN. He just got an extension, I think, last month. I'm surprised they didn't I for that. Aren't you?
I actually am.
And
Yeah,
then he, you know, he has a podcast. He went on his podcast and took it even farther,
oh yeah,
and was talking personally about LeBron, saying how he, you
yeah.
know, he's never really liked him, you know, and
You
he's
know,
always
if you
said he's
guys
not
only
the
knew the
goat.
half of it, yeah, it's
It's like just okay.
and
You might want to drop it, man. You're gonna
yeah,
back
and
around
then a
COVID and all that. He'd probably be out of a job by now if it was
and then a
back
day or
3 4
two
years ago.
later, yeah, and then a day or two later, on first take, he's like, "Well, I didn't want to bring this up, but he wasn't even at Kobe's memorial, or he didn't even show up to D
Yeah,
Wade's Hall of." It's like, Jesus, dude, what are you trying to do right now?
yeah. He's just
Like,
trying to stir it
what?
up some more. You know, it's like drop it,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, and it's like I saw a New York Times link attached to that clip that specifically said back then, yes, Kobe or LeBron James, among other people, was spotted at Coors. It was like you're spreading this
Yeah,
information, and it's not even true.
I think he came back and like clarified. He said
Yeah,
that he was at his memorial or something that he. I don't know why he even said he wasn't, but he had some reason
yeah,
for it. But it's like, dude, you're just starting it up again, man.
yeah. He was like, yeah, LeBron's always been a dickhead. It's just now you guys know. It's like we don't know anything,
Yeah,
actually. Like you're the one that supposedly has all this stuff on him, and yet the first couple things you said were wrong.
yeah, exactly.
So it's
Did you
like
like Shannon or Skip Bayless better for first take?
Shannon.
You like
Shannon,
Shannon?
100%. 100%.
Shannon Sharp was one of the biggest freaking dudes I've ever seen.
Oh, I bet.
Hold on, I got Anthony Edwards breaking news here.
Oh, I just got it too.
Oh, poster dunk. Another one. Holy crap. I'm not writing this weekend. Someone else could do it. I pumped mine out earlier this week.
Yep.
It's the weekend. I got to spend it with my kids. And I got a
Yep.
podcast. That's more important.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you live in Arizona, right?
Yep. Flagstaff.
Okay. How do you like it out there? Is it?
It, man, I don't like the mountains. I don't like the snow. I'm a beach kid,
You guys got
so
heat out there, don't you? Hot?
Arizona, yes. Flagstaff, no. We're at 7,000 feet, so
So is that up in the northern part then?
yeah.
Well, here everybody just thinks, oh, Minnesota, Wisconsin, oh, it's always cold there. And we have 100-degree days, believe it or not, we do.
Oh
But
my
in the
God.
winter, the winters are brutal.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, below zero a lot. I mean, it's 50 today, but yeah, probably 6, 7 months out of the year is winter.
Oh
More like
my
8.
God.
And then we
Oh
have
my
no
God.
spring, no fall. It's summer for 4 months. And then it goes right back into winter again. The seasons are so weird here.
God. I mean, I'm a huge like stew person, so I mean, I feel like I'd love it living there just 'cause
Yeah.
it gives me a chance to eat stew and chili for like
I
half
was
the
going to
year.
say, stew and chili. We always have chili. It's been my wife's staple week 1 for NFL. When it starts getting a little colder.
Oh,
Well, actually, September's not too cold, but week 1 we always do chili. It's always our
oh,
thing.
that's the best. It's the best. Some cornbread too. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. I haven't ate dinner. I haven't ate dinner yet.
Neither have I. That's why I'm talking about food right
You got a nice setup
now.
there, though. It's a pretty nice
Not
setup
too
there.
bad. Not too bad.
Yeah.
Got a little laptop, little couch,
Yeah.
whatever the hell those things are right there. Yep, we got it all.
Where'd you get those? With pictures.
You'll have to ask my girlfriend. They're hers.
Oh, pretty nice.
Yep, her fake tree over there too.
You guys got a lot of rattlesnakes? Not in the northern part, or?
Oh, down in the valley, yeah, down where it's warm. Oh,
Yeah.
there's quite a few. A lot of coyotes.
That'd be kind of cool. See, I've never seen a rattlesnake ever.
It's
We
cool until you see one up close, and then it's like, oh, that's not what I want to see.
we don't get a lot of. I mean, obviously, a lot of that shit up there. 15 viewers we got.
What's up? What's up?
We're about at the end, though, aren't we?
Yeah, I believe so. But
Yeah. So
like I
I
said,
don't
I'm
know when you want to do another one.
whatever, man. I'm down to make it either a weekly thing or twice a week, whatever.
Yeah, I'd
Whatever
like to
works
do
for
a
me.
weekly thing. Maybe draw on a couple other people from Hardwood Heroics that want to do it, but the
Yeah.
Discord's been fucking dead, man.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
don't
what's going on. I don't know if they, I don't know if they lost some people or I don't know. Just people don't like chatting. I don't know what it is, but
yeah, I don't know. Everybody used to talk about what they were gonna write about too, and now all of a sudden it's like nobody lets anybody know shit. Like I shouldn't have
yeah,
to go through the entire site just to figure out what I can write about, man.
that's the problem now. I got to go on there and look at recent stories and everything. Like the last
Yeah.
couple days, I'm like on page 3 and it's still like today's date. I'm like, God damn it! I just want to write about, you know, oh, that one was covered. Damn it! There goes that idea.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll
Oh,
figure it out.
Florida
Hopefully
is
they'll figure it out.
so get a little NCAA score here real quick.
Oh yeah, they need to pull that up too.
Oh, tight game, 60-58. Florida's up.
Ooh. It's gonna be Florida Duke.
That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see Walter Clayton on the Wolves for Florida. He's really good. He's got 24 right now. 8.5 to go in the game. I have Florida Duke in my final, but my bracket's not looking too hot.
I want to see Florida win just so we can see that 7'9" monster cut the net again. That's what I want.
Is that Oliver?
Olivier Rui.
Oh, is that what they call him? Olivier?
Yeah,
So
I
does he
think
get
that's his name.
redshirted this year? Or is he just not playing?
Yeah, he intentionally redshirted this year.
So he'll probably be playing next year.
Yep. Can't wait. I've done like 4 or 5 stories on him, and those are my highest viewed ones. So
Oh, are they? Nice.
he's officially my favorite college player just because I've covered him a couple of times and he's brought me some numbers. So
There's I don't think there's any Florida Gator writers. I haven't seen any stories on Florida besides you. You should be a
yeah,
Florida Gator fan. There you go.
I'm not. I don't really care about him, but if I have to be, I will.
You got 4 more years to write about the
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. The funny thing though is when you write about somebody that's 7'9", the comment section is filled with absolute filth.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the first comment was like, "Yeah, he's probably got a huge dong." I'm like, Jesus, man. All right, well, that's cool. First, I'm
Yeah.
not even joking. First comment on Newsbreak was talking about. I was like, all right, good
just,
God.
just like someone writing about Bronny. You write a positive article about Bronny. Oh, he had 4 points. He sucks. He only averages
Yeah.
2 points. Oh, he's terrible. Oh, he's there just
Yep.
because of his dad. It's kind of like writing about Bronny. You're gonna get just negative stuff.
Oh yeah, I wrote one about Bronny too, and yeah, reading those comments were.
Did they
I
really
wrote
say
about.
that about that Olivier guy?
I did. I will pull it up right now. It's
That is
the
awesome.
first. It was the first comment on there.
Oh my god, that is. Yeah, I didn't mention that either. Our Hardwood Heroics is partnered with Newsbreak too, so we got all of our stuff on there. I don't know a lot of people that actually go on Newsbreak though. Like a lot of my friends, I don't even know if they have that app on there.
Okay, yeah. So it was the first comment, but you can see at the bottom talking about the mash. Yeah, that was the first comment
Oh my
right after.
god!
I think Freak was the very first comment, and then yeah, the one after that was yeah. I bet he's got a massive. I'm just like,
How do
all
you
right,
save all
cool.
that? How do you get to all that quick?
Oh, it was yeah. I saved it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I saved all my articles on there just so I can access them later.
Do you do muck rack too?
Can you watch Daisy?
I have a Muckrack account. I
Okay, I'm gonna
just
call
don't
him
know
now.
how to utilize it.
Okay.
So still
Oh,
working on that.
I don't know what it does. Does it? I
I
mean, do
did,
people go on there? 'Cause you can't follow anyone on there. I don't know how it works.
I
I mean,
don't
I
know
have all my
either. They
stuff
just
on there. I have all my stuff on there. I just don't. Yeah, I don't know how it works.
yeah, they brought it up in our chat one day. I was like, all right, cool, I'll make one of those. That's why I immediately typed afterwards. I was like, all right, so what the hell did I make this for exactly? Because I
Yeah,
don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know if it's a how it's an incentive to us or what.
Yeah, I don't.
271 comments on this article. Holy shit! Not mine.
On which one?
Something about Kamala Harris. Who wrote this on Hardwood Heroics? Dan Agalto
Oh yeah.
wrote about y'all did that as Democrats. Kamala Harris, Barack Obama comments on Donald Trump's terror. How is that on Hardwood Heroics?
Sounds like it might be a mistake.
It's got 271 comments on it and
Damn.
271 impressions.
Damn.
But it's talking about. Yeah, I think they have something going on because there's another ad on here about tariffs on the Hardwood Heroics site. And then they have
All right.
another article. You should check this out. There's two of them back to back talking about elections on the Hardwood Heroics site. It's like
What?
the. I mean, you might have to scroll down like 6 or 7 articles, but I don't know if that's supposed to be on there.
Yeah, I'm not
Never,
sure.
I've never seen that on there before, and it's not an ad; it's an
Int
actual article.
Interesting.
It's right after the Mark Cuban one,
Okay.
and it says Hardwood Heroics. That's interesting.
Weird. Yep.
And then everything else is about basketball. All the other articles.
Yeah. Damn, that one has 926 reactions. Holy shit.
The biggest reactions are about uh, politic article in a basketball site.
Of course. Just tie something Donald Trump said into something about basketball and you have a
Yep,
hit.
you have 971 comments. How do
I
you
don't know if
search
I want
for
to
your
read
How do
any
you
of
search
those.
for your articles? Can you do that or not?
Um,
Rather than like
I don't
scrolling through all of them.
I don't think you can search for them. That's why I saved them all. 'Cause I was having a hard time finding them.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can't even look up your own stuff.
I like the ideas, but I don't know. It's just communication's a little iffy.
A little bit. But hopefully it gets better. We'll see. We'll see.
Are you gonna write anything this weekend or not?
I'm gonna try to.
Yeah.
Got a couple ideas. One probably do one about the NIL case coming up on Monday. That's
Yeah,
gonna be
that's
the
coming
same
up
day
soon.
as yep, same day as the finals, which is interesting, but
Mm-hmm.
it's probably right about something like that. I think probably about the blood clot issue that's going on in the NBA right now.
Yeah, Lillard is going through that, right?
Yep, Lillard, Wemby, and I think like I want to say like two other players.
I wrote about the Lillard thing a couple days ago. I think he's starting to do activities here in like a week. Finally,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
it's a deep vein thrombosis, is what they call it. I guess. Isn't that
Yep.
crazy?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the third or fourth case this year, and I can't really think of it happening in any recent years besides like Chris Bosh like 10,
Yeah,
12 years ago.
yeah, and then Wemby goes down, and then De'Aaron Fox goes down right after there. You're trading for him.
That's right. That's right, De'Aaron
You
Fox
just
too.
you just kind of count the Spurs out once that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But
All right, man. I appreciate you doing this with me. That was fun.
yeah, of course.
We'll
Had a
do another one here
blast.
soon. Uh,
Absolutely.
Thank you, everyone in chat, for hanging out. Thank you for the host from Cowboy Trucker. Appreciate that. We'll be back. I don't know. Look us up on Twitter or something, or we'll put something out there.
Yes, sir.
Everyone have a great night. Good night, Jackie. Well, I guess night for me. Have a great day, everyone else. Talk to you later.